Yeah. Hey, Vikings faithful, you are listening to the Purple People podcast. You are stuck with Kyle and Kyle this week. I am Kyle West, accompanied by Kyle Smith. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. I wanted to shout and jump for joy. I didn't get to join you guys last week because I'm a dad now. This is crazy.
Woo! We're happy. We're so proud of you, man. That's awesome.
But yes, I'm doing well. I'm back in my stomping grounds for work in El Paso. It's good. It's nice and hot here.
Mm-hmm.
How's it up where you're at?
It is cold and rainy, and it literally went from one day I have a fan in the window because it's so hot. I have to turn on a space so cold because it's Iowa, and that's what it does this time of year. Let's see here. Adam is out this week. I think we are safe to say that he is moving, in the process of moving, and is just all kinds of stuff. But he will be back with us next week.
Yeah. Good luck to Adam. I think he's actually moving to Minnesota, which is really awesome. So kind of jealous, to be honest with you. But good luck with the move, Adam.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hopefully you get to tune into the show, and we got a good one for you. I am actually super proud of this because Adam's not here, and I somehow – what happened was me and Kyle were talking before the show, and we need a show title. And, Adam's the punny person of the group. He's very good at those. And if you guys haven't checked out his stuff, he's a very big Walking Dead fan. So this is episode number 253, The Walking Ted, because there was a Teddy Bridgewater sighting at OTAs yesterday.
More than a sighting. Like, you sight like Bigfoot when you see him. No, this is like actual photographic and video evidence of one Teddy Bridgewater on the field. We'll get to more to that here in a little bit. But it's 253 episodes of the Purple People podcast. And we should remind everyone really quick to hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you have not already. And subscribe to us. We appreciate it.
Guys definitely should. Thank you for all the people who have done it so far. Once we get to 1,000, it's gonna explode. This thing's gonna get even bigger than it already has built upon in the last couple of years. So thank you.
I think we're like 4 away from 400. Next week's episode, I hope that we will mark. And then I think I made Adam Carlson promise that he was going to write a top 400 Minnesota Vikings of all time when we hit that mark. So hold him to that and tweet him at, what is his Twitter account? I have it right here in front.
It's MN Viking Zombie. Is that right?
Yeah, tweet him, and that is correct. Tweet him and tell him how much you are looking forward to his top 400 Minnesota Vikings players of all time.
He'll be busy for like 2 weeks nonstop if he did that. So awesome.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's jump in quick. We don't have much this week. It was honestly kind of a slow week. That's okay. We like our slow weeks every now and then. So we'll take turns here. We'll go back and forth. Let's start out. Let's wish former head coach, legendary head coach, Bud Grant, a happy 90th birthday.
It's incredible. He's still got his wits, too. If you guys know me on the show, I love the Dan Le Batard show on ESPN. They actually called and harassed him before his garage sale recently. And it might be – he kind of hinted to maybe
that was good.
The last one. But it's incredible. He still had a good attitude. He was a good sport. And he kind of went through the process of some of the weird things that he's been asked and seen. And Bud Grant, man, he's just a one-of-a-kind character. Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, and let's welcome Samuel Becker with us in the chat. Thanks for joining us this week. Bud Grant is an amazing individual in person, as well as legendary coach of the Minnesota Vikings. And it's really cool that he still takes the time to stop and, chit-chat with the team. He's involved in a number of things. I was listening to K-Fan this morning, and Mike Zimmer still talks to him. He had talked to him over this whole eye surgery thing that he's got going on as well, too. And Zimmer made a funny remark where he said that, doctors are telling him that he shouldn't be driving because of his eye surgery. And Bud Grant laughed and said, yeah, I just turned 90. Doctors are telling me I shouldn't be driving either. And he's like, you know what I'm doing? I thought that was pretty great.
I see a lot of Bud Grant and Mike Zimmer in a lot of ways, so that's pretty funny. I'm sure they are two old kindred spirits who are cut from the same cloth. But yeah, it was good to see. It was good to hear it on the radio that day, because anything with the Vikings on national news, I have to tune into. So that was really awesome the other day. But speaking of national news, I don't want to steal the thunder from the title, but I ranted about this on the show a couple weeks ago about how NFL Network and how I said I should be doing some of their guys' jobs because they suck at their jobs. And I'll say it again for a hot take and clicks and likes and whatever. The NFL analyst, the B squad, like the Nate Burlesons, like I used to love Nate Burleson too, but they don't know what's going on with the Teddy Bridgewater situation. When Teddy Bridgewater himself posts videos on his social media, and everybody lives through Twitter now, Teddy Bridgewater was seen throwing passes during OTAs. It's actually confirmed and posted by the Minnesota Vikings website. It's on their app. It's on their site. It's on their Facebook, all that good stuff. I didn't see who he was throwing to, but you see him taking some dropbacks. He's got a brace on that left knee, but he's out there. He's just
J.J. Watt style.
Yeah, I think it's huge, right?
Ginormous, but of course.
He's running around, just not at full speed yet. Teddy's not fully recovered, obviously, and that leads to the second part of this quick hit. Rick Spielman was asked, and he was said, Teddy is not cleared or return to practice. He was actually in Dallas today. I think they said Dallas, getting checked on. So his rehab is going well. If any of you guys remember what happened last year compared to right now, we're at the halfway point between when the season ended and when the season starts again. So it's amazing. We got OTAs going on. We'll have mini camp. Then we'll have training camp. And then the preseason coming up. But Teddy's not cleared yet. But this is a positive step in the right direction. And if I was a betting man, I would say he would be on the roster this year, which would be great if he was the quarterback number 2. And Kyle's going to talk about that later in the show and his thoughts on Teddy Bridgewater. But to let you guys know, Teddy Bridgewater, there's an official video out there. He's at OTAs. He's throwing. He's moving around a little bit. So be happy for all the Teddy fans out there. I know I'm stoked about it.
I'm very excited for it too, even though he's not cleared to officially partake in the OTAs and stuff like that. It is fun to see him out there doing what he can do, and it's important to note that Teddy is out there. He's doing some side to side motions as well too. We've mentioned this when he's Snapchat video or something in the past. He's not just stationary throwing with upper body movements. He's moving from side to side and doing some other things. And that is really, really important, just based on the nature of the surgery that he had and the severity of the injury that he suffered. So it's good that he is, he seems to be regaining, and we don't know what part he's in. There's still a long ways to go, but I'm loving the that we're seeing from Teddy.
Yeah, shout out to the doctors on the team, and just obviously Teddy's a lot to credit for that, for just powering through and stayed completely positive about this. There hasn't been any woe is me. This could literally happen to anybody. So I'm happy for him. It was a positive video. It was exciting to see. And I actually have a bold statement later that has to do with Teddy. So Kyle and I are going to talk about that at the end of the show, so stay tuned. This next one I shot to the guys in a group chat the other day, and this is a hot take, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there.
I like this. This is a hot take.
Sports Illustrated's Peter King says he expects that rookie running back Dalvin Cook will be a top 5 running back by Halloween. We start the season in September, guys. So, 6-7 games in maybe, and he's expecting Dalvin Cook to be in the top 5. I think what he meant by that is production. I don't know if he meant fantasy, but overall production. I don't know how he's going to be integrated. I think he's a game changer. I think that he's got a lot of traits for blocking. Obviously, he's a great runner. He can catch the ball. He can actually be used as a receiver if you want. I don't know what he'll do on special teams, but if the gears get rolling and he impresses Mike Zimmer enough, him and Latavius Murray, it's going to be crazy. But I don't know what you think about that, Kyle. I think I think it's bold. I don't know if he's going to be top 5, but I wouldn't be mad if that happened.
Here really quick to Eric, he was with us in the chat, who's Skull Vikings, Teddy Truthers Unite. We are all big fans of Teddy Bridgewater here on the podcast, every single one of us, and we all want to see him do this. As for Dalvin Cook being a top 5 running back by Halloween, I like it. I like bold statements like that. They're fun. I don't know how much weight you can put into it, because I just look at that on paper and I go, well, why Halloween? How did you pick What, like, how did you pick that specific point? And like, I don't really understand how you get from point A to point B, but that's not how bold statements work. As you know, you make them all the time. You just make a bold, you don't want to make something bold and stand out with. I think what he's getting at, though, is that the meat and potatoes of this is that he's expecting Dalvin Cook to sooner rather than later become a big factor in the Vikings offense. And I think that that is an accurate statement. I do think that he can, it's going to be running back by committee, but I do think good things from this kid, and it's going to be obvious fairly soon. He's going to be kind of like a number one for the Vikings running back, and Murray is going to be like a number two, and you're going to mix and match and use them accordingly on the field. He has a bright future for the Vikings. I love this pick. I really do love this draft pick.
For you guys to, we'll go to the next quick hit shortly. I'm excited about this tandem that we have. I think Latavius Murray could stay too, unless he just stinks it up this year, which I don't think that's going to happen. Think about the Cincinnati Bengals of the last couple of years, and think about the Atlanta Falcons last year. You know, you have in Cincy, Gio Bernard, and then I think it was Jeremy Hill, if I'm correct on that. But they have two good running backs there. You have Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman down in Atlanta. We're going to have a contemporary running game. We're going to have more contemporary offense from what you're used to seeing. So I think that's where the state comes in there, that he could be a top 5 running back. That means he's going to have to produce a little more than Latavius Murray, but I'm excited for it because this is the best problem that you can have.
You know, I had read a really accurate statement about kind of where the Vikings are headed at the running back position, and it was that the Vikings have finally brought their run game into the modern era, and I think what they mean by that statement is that teams who had with Peterson a true defined number one running back for all those years, and we're going to run with a jumbo package with 2 tight ends and a fullback, and he's going to dot the I, and we're just going to power run the football. And there's not a lot of teams that really do that anymore. And what's exciting of these backs now who can do so many different things and be so versatile for this team. And that's what makes it hard to defend, because you don't know with a Dalvin Cook on the field, is he going to run it? Is he going to swing out? Is it going to be a pass play? There's just all these different options that they can do, and I think that is exciting.
Yeah, he's gonna do a ton of things with the ball, and I personally, that's probably my favorite highlight coming up, besides seeing what Sam Bradford has done, how the line has been restructured, and Sam Bradford having a whole offseason and a system in place to see how much he's going to progress from last year.
Ooh, we got a bold statement.
Let's hear it.
TMF Tyler, he says, Bradford week 1 for sure, Teddy by maybe week 5 or 6, and so on.
Wow. I thought about that earlier. I hope not, because that means Bradford's probably going to stink it up, and I don't want him to, because we paid him a lot of money this year. But if anybody's going to outseed him, obviously it's going to be Teddy, because that's going to be the interesting offline. But I'll stay tuned. I forgot the username you were talking about. Stay tuned. At the end, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that whole thing. That's my bold statement for this week. But
yeah, and I have an interesting top 5 this week too that pertains to Teddy Bridgewater as well too. So we got more Teddy.
I can feel Adam.
We got a lot
on our neck right now, so I'll jump down. Because we have a kind of a weird, sad topic to get to, but I didn't put this bullet in, but I'm really excited because the more I read about it, I remember the headline, and I remember seeing it online. It says 350 kids attended the inaugural and free. Don't forget that part. Mike Zimmer Foundation Fall Pro Camp, sponsored by Medtronic this past Saturday. So during the camp, the kids learned about healthy and active living, the importance of approaching life with a positive attitude, and even learned about some football fundamentals. And stuff like this is the things that I think should be everywhere for every organization that there is, any business. I think the military should have it. I think that police should have it. I think that doctors and nurses, any kind of job you would want. And then when you get into pop culture and things that are popular like football, this one being sports, I think this is great. The Mike Zimmer Foundation, if you guys don't know about it, I'll give them a plug here on the show. Google the Mike Zimmer Foundation. It's a really cool cause. They have some pretty cool merch, too, that you can wear around. I know Adam has a shirt. This is the right way to do it. and all the things that I just listed, active living and a positive attitude. Those are the main things that you want to teach your kids. You can teach them about football at a young age too, but how you are as a person, I think, is way more important than if you can run a football or throw it or catch it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome, man, and I would love to be a part of that. I would love to see all the kids and how excited they are. And shout out to Mike Zimmer for doing stuff like that around the community. He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I've always loved how much this team does within the community, and you always see them where they've got players, whether they be rookies or veterans, that are, hey, we're going to go visit an elementary school. I know Stephon Diggs visited at an elementary school here just a few weeks ago, and they're always doing cool stuff to help out. And it's really nice anytime we can give them a shout out. Segue, speaking of things to shout out, you should download the official Viking Age app. Available now on Android and Apple devices. You can see all of Adam's work and our podcast on the Viking. It's free and it's awesome, and you should download it.
I used it today. This is how we got our quick hit. I didn't put the quick hit in, so I won't steal your thunder, Kyle. But yeah. I went to my Viking Age app and I saw it go off today, and it said Teddy Bridgewater is not cleared to practice, which confused me because I saw him throwing, but OTAs aren't an official practice yet. So that's fine. But I got that information from a Viking Age app. And like I said, most of you guys have Androids or Apple phones. So it's free. It's out there. It's direct. It's all the Viking news you could want from a bunch of great writers. They have a bunch of different styles. Even the other guys the other day, there's some articles that make me fired up and heated, and I talk about it. But something to get you talking about the Vikings. So check that out if you can.
We'll have to ask Adam. You can tweet Adam on Twitter, and you can find out if there will be an official BlackBerry version of the Viking Age app.
Will it work on my AOL Instant Messenger and my MySpace? Can't put it on there, please.
Horrible, funny segue. That has nothing to do with anything. I recently found out that you guys from your how bizarre is that?
I missed you. Sorry. My internet likes to slow up and then go fast again. Something about MySpace, though, correct?
Yeah, I said that you can log into your MySpace profile from your Facebook page now.
I think I deleted mine a while back because I was in the military. I've been in for almost 10 years, and some of the embarrassing stuff from 10 years ago when I was so young. I was like, God, please don't let my coworkers find this on the internet somehow. But that's pretty funny. I saw you post about it on your personal page, so that was really
yeah.
Just to take back, that's the stuff we're going to show our kids, when they're 15 or whatever, and they're going to say, like, oh, you were such a nerd, and be like, yeah, well, I was a cool nerd back in the day. But
let's get going. You want to talk about some rule changes? I thought this was, or no, let's do the Sam Bradford one first, and then we'll do the rule changes.
Yeah, we'll save the juiciest quick hit for last. We got 2 left. I just stumbled upon this on Instagram before we started the show, about an hour before. So NFL.com, if you have an Instagram account, follow NFL and go to their story up at the top left corner. They have articles within their photos now because Instagram's always updating, and they'll just update on certain things. And I thought, man, isn't Sam Bradford a Heisman-winning quarterback when I saw this? So from the year 2000 up to now, they rank the top 10 quarterbacks that have won a Heisman Trophy. So I started thinking about it. And I don't know if it's been all quarterbacks since 2000. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close.
It's almost always quarterback that wins.
We have about 16 candidates, so some people aren't even on this list. And I was like, Sam Bradford had better be on this damn list because he's had a lot of people think he's a loser because he hasn't been to the postseason, I don't believe, and 7-9 or 8-8 records, whatever. But the guy throws
injury history.
Yeah, injuries, all that good stuff. But you forget
he's bounced between a couple teams, but the Chip Kelly thing is his fault.
Yeah,
in Philly.
He's a number 1 pick. He's thrown a ton of touchdowns. He's a lot of yards. So I was very happy to see him at number 3 on this list. Number 2 was Carson Palmer, which is to be expected. And then Cam Newton, obviously MVP, a season removed from last year. And then he, going to the Super Bowl that year. So Sam Bradford's in some pretty cool company, even though it's kind of a small, condensed group. I found that in there, and it had to do with the Vikings and Bradford. You guys know I love Sam Bradford, so I wanted to throw that in there. If you have the NFL Instagram, it's linked to NFL.com. They did a video on it, so you can go see who else is on that list.
I do too. Just to kind of talk about Sam here for a minute because he's our quarterback, man. We got to talk about our quarterback. I've always been a Our quarterback, man. I've I've always been a fan of his, even before he was a Viking. Like I always kind of like respected him from afar, and thought that man, here's a guy who's had some bad luck. You know, he was with St. Louis, and they were basically directionless when he was with them. He made a boat, never built a team around him. He went through a bunch of coordinators and like head coaches. He goes to Philly. Philly has Chip Kelly. That's an absolute mess. He shouldn't be allowed anywhere near an NFL head or team just ever again. So you can't blame Philly on him. And he comes to Minnesota on this and does what he did for us last season. Sets that completion percentage mark. Getting killed with TJ Clemmings out there trying to protect him. No run game to speak of. I mean, come on, man. This guy is we love Teddy. We're all talking about Teddy in the chat. But Sam Bradford is the man too. Like he is the man. And I want to see him succeed. I want to see the Vikings succeed. I hope that there is the winning combination within these guys and they can get it figured out.
I think they will, man. I don't have any doubts about that. But we have the last quick hit is pretty interesting. It's going to affect the entire league, and I don't know which ones. Well, I know which one of the in this two-part of the quick hit is more interesting to me. But I want to get your thoughts, man. If you guys haven't heard, overtime was shortened from 15 minutes to 10 for player safety.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, that's totally fine with me. I hate overtime as it is. I think there should always be a winner, and it's really, really annoying because I don't like ties.
Have they got rid of it? Have they got rid of preseason overtime yet?
I think this applies to that as well. I don't think there should be an overtime in preseason regardless. So.
No, it just preseason overtime is the most ridiculous idea. If they're serious about player safety, you just freaking get rid of preseason overtime just immediately.
Yeah, that to me, I'm right there with you, man. I think that's ridiculous. 2 players are now allowed back from IR, which is a really cool change. The last one got me, and I think this is way more significant than a lot of people realize. The mandatory cut from 90 to 75 players during the preseason has been removed. Teams go from their 90-man roster to 53. If I'm an NFL player and I'm not an absolute surefire starter like Harrison Smith or Xavier Rhodes, I am terrified when I hear this news because a lot of people aren't going to know until the final cut. And that little bridge from 90 to 75 to 53, man, that's crazy.
See, I kind of go the opposite way. I like it because I've never liked the cut down from 90 to 75 to 53. I think it's arbitrary and doesn't serve a purpose because now you can go as a team. The point of preseason is you want to see what you have in young players, whether they be drafted or undrafted, so you can develop them. Now you can go, okay, I know who my veterans are. I basically know who my starters are. I basically know my 53 when you come down to, like, say, preseason game, 3 and 4. So I know these guys are safe. But here are these other fringe players that maybe have quite made it to the 75 cut down. Say like a Mobo. We'll use him for an example. Maybe he wouldn't quite make it. But now, because we don't have to cut players, we can keep everyone more of an opportunity to go out there and play because, we know what we have in Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs and I almost said Mike Wallace. Where the hell did that come from? He hasn't been on the team in a couple of years. We know what we have in Mike Wallace. Absolutely nothing because he can't catch the football. I think it gives you more of an opportunity for some of these fringe guys to stick around and maybe have an extra week or two, and maybe that's all they need to have a really good practice or a really good game. The practice squad.
You know what? I like that, man. This is why I love this show. This is why I like this whole setup that we do. I would never have thought of it that way. At least I don't think I would have. So that's a cool perspective, man. And I can't say I disagree with you. So that's
I think, and I've been now. There's absolutely no reason why the roster needs to be locked at 53, let alone have inactive people on game days. I think it's 48 players active on game day. I think the roster should be inflated to 60 players on your roster, and then just arbitrarily cut it down to 53 and say 53 can be active on game day. I would love to see that because I would love to see more specialists in the game. Let's say Cordero Patterson can't quite cut it as a wide receiver, good returner. And that opens up the opportunity for the Vikings to say, well, you're not a receiver. We don't view you as a receiver. We view you as a returner. Returners are going to make X amount of money.
Right.
I think that allows more players to carve out a role on rosters. They don't do it in the NFL for whatever reason. They just want to get rid of kicks and punts and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other.
It's a whole other thing.
Get into for now because I'll just be so angry talking about it. But I totally agree.
Okay.
I don't think they'd go to 60. I think they could probably add 2 more, like 55. But even then, that would leave 2 extra positions for something you're talking about, maybe like a specialist or something like that, which would be really
yeah.
Maybe they'll do that.
I would like that a lot. One thing I want to mention.
Probably listen to our ideas.
I will apply for commissioner next season. One thing that I forgot to put down because it's not really a rule change as it is a rule emphasis or de-emphasis, and it's one that I'm super excited about. They are going to stop harping on players for celebrating. They're going to be able to. I love it. They're going to be able to shoot the basketball through the goalposts again. You can dunk the ball again, and then they're going to be allowed to show more. There's still, you can't do group celebrations. You can't pull a Sharpie out of your pocket or a cell phone or anything like that. Nothing vulgar. Can't do nothing vulgar. But, if Stephon Diggs gets into the end zone, when he gets into the end zone and he wants to do his little shovel dance or whatever, supposedly players are going to be able to do that. And that's cool. As a fan, I want to see that.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't add that in there. That was probably the biggest, most talked about thing. So now, we're loosening up the reins on touchdown celebrations, thank God. Nothing sexual, nothing offensive, nothing harassing. No violence either. I know somebody was talking about bow and arrow. I think it was on Mike and Mike or something. You can't do that because it represents a weapon. But you can definitely run around and act a fool if you like Elliott last year jumping in the Salvation Army Bowl. I think that was amazing. And good on him. And
that was fun. Guys, it's fun.
Like that. I enjoy seeing stuff like that.
I mean, it's football. It's a sport. It's entertainment. We watch this to be entertained. Of course, you don't want them doing things that are vulgar and whatever. And if a player wants to score in the end zone and then just hand the ball to the referee, that's fine too. No one's saying that you have to celebrate. That's that player expressing themselves the way they want to. If Diggs wants to do his thing, let him do his thing. It's like Paul Allen said it this morning. It's 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Total. 3 seconds of celebrating in the end zone. It's no big deal. Fans want to see it. I want to see it. It's fun. This is all make-believe. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, it's all made up. Points don't matter, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right.
Patriots are going to win. It's rigged.
Yeah, they probably will win the Super Bowl again in Minnesota, and that'll be just the most as long as the Packers don't win in Minnesota, it's a win for us. So that's all I care about.
Oh God, I didn't even think of that. You ruined my night. I didn't even think of that scenario.
Kyle's just gonna log off. It'll be me here for half an hour.
The end of the show. I'm sick.
So, the main topic of the week here on the Perfect People podcast, the Walking Ted episode. God, I'm so proud of that. Mike Zimmer is taking about 2 weeks away from the team to recover from his 8th. That's right. The number before number 9, 8 eye surgery. It's crazy to think about. But I'm just going to let you guys know there might be a word or two here. If you're listening with your kids, go ahead and turn it down for a minute. Because Kyle talked about it earlier in the chat today. But this part's okay for now. I'll let you know again when I'm going to say something a little naughty on here. But speaking of Paul Allen on K-Fan, Zimmer shared some news on his recovery. The retina looks great. The pressure in my eye is really good. So at this point, we just need to take it easy, make sure it heals the right way. And I love this because the guy's not too much of a hard ass to say, hey, it's not that far, past the midpoint of the season, whatever. I need to take some time off to heal. I'm glad that we have an owner and a general manager that says, you know what, you're a badass coach. Go take some time. It's cool. I think that he should be there for mini camp. I think he should be there for training camp, and he'll be fine. I just wish him a speedy recovery. But the best quote, and now's the time you can turn the volume down, parents and non-sailor mouth lover people. He said today, this is an actual quote, thanks to Kyle West for finding this and hearing about it. If I can take 6 needles to the eye, they better find a way to knock this effing quarterback on his ass. All right? And there's a Mike Zimmer saying that I've heard before. This one blows it out of the water. And I think this is true. He's in his 60s, and he's just getting poked in the eye with needles all the time because he might be going blind. Hopefully not. Hey, if you need some motivation, look at your coach. I did this the other day in my class. I'm not harping on females at all in the military, but we all know they have a genetically smaller frame. They're usually smaller than males. And this actually, was it this morning? I think it was yesterday morning. Yeah, it was Tuesday morning. You know, we're doing PT. We've got our vests on and everything like that. And I see our female struggling, but she's not quitting. And I just say, you guys, if you need motivation, it's right there in front of you. When you want to quit, think about your sister over here. She might be slower than us, but she's giving her heart. And that's the same thing I think of when I hear this Mike Zimmer story, man.
Hell of a thing. What he's went. I was listening to K-Fan where they were talking. Did this radio interview with Mike Zimmer. He's going to his ranch in Kentucky, which Paul Allen says apparently is extravagant.
Of course it is.
Water fountains, and horses, and a bunch of other stuff. Because he's probably pretty well set for being as long as he's been in the NFL.
Right.
But it sounds like that. This is for his long-term health. And it took a lot of convincing by the Vikings organization to get him to do this. It's not like he wanted to leave.
I believe that wholeheartedly.
Dude, Mike. Otherwise, like they might have to scoop eye out here. And he's going to be working up and tune in, watch what they're doing. He's got different coaches delegated with different tasks. His son out there as well too that is going to be speaking on his behalf. So if he has a message that wants to relay to his team, he's got his kid that he can relay back and forth. So it's not like that he's completely cut off from the team. But from what I was listening to Paul Allen say is, and he missed that game against Dallas. He was wearing the eye patch, and he was some really, really painful moments where he said that he caught Zimmer in his office watching game tape, and he's got a big flat screen TV like a couple inches away from it with the one eye completely covered, and he's just like squinting just as hard as he can try to watch it. And boy, that tells you the kind of dedication that you got. He's sitting with all the lights off because he wants to see this, and he wants the team to see it and win, and he's not going to let his own personal stop him from doing his job.
Yeah, man. You couldn't ask for a better, more tough coach than what we have. He's a hard ass, and I enjoy his enthusiasm and love for the game. So the question for the main topic is, should we be worried about the health of our head coach? I'm not saying that's worded wrong. Of course we should be worried about it, but I think in the sense of, are we worried that Mike Zimmer might not be able to coach the team long term?
Long term. Mm-hmm.
Is it? I'm not going to lie to you. This has crossed my brain quite a few times. So it's an excellent question and an excellent topic. I think as long as he can put his pride aside, not to correct you, to be whatever. I think it was the Dallas game is when Mike Prefer was there. I think you're thinking about the Jacksonville game or something. It was one of those games where he's just running up and down the sideline, and he's got an eye patch on, and he's angry like usual. And we're like, man,
takes the eye patch off.
He's out there right now. I think if he can get out of his own way, which I think, he's a hard guy, but back when he was a defensive coordinator, no holds barred. I know he's said plenty of times he's had to learn how to, talk to people a little better and learn how to empathize with players now. So maybe it's taught him how to empathize with himself because he's so hard on himself and his team, and he's so dedicated. I am worried for him personally, just as a person and a human being. For the team, as far as coaching goes, I absolutely don't want to see Mike Zimmer leave. I think he's a reason why this team has turned around. I mean, we have top 5 D lines as of last year. We went 8-8. You know, the defense is the cornerstone of this team. This is what we're built around. So, yeah, I am worried. I am worried that genuinely for his health, first of all, and his life quality, but I don't want to see him be replaced because this is a terrible thing to happen if this is how we would lose him. And I hope that's not it. And I hope to God this is the last and final surgery and he has a full, healthy recovery, just like Teddy Bridgewater.
It sucks that it took him so long to get a head coaching job because he should have been coaching a team, some team. He should
Yep.
have been coaches. It came out and Zimmer should be in his 10th season as a head coach and just be doing his thing instead of his 3rd?
He's going into his 4th, yeah.
Fourth season for the Vikings. I guess kind of my point with that is that you do look at him and you go, well, he is 60. He's had some health issues that have came up, and you do kind of wonder a little in the back of your mind as to in terms of Mike Zimmer. At what point he have to retire? Not because he wants to retire. I think he would coach into his 80s if his body would let him, because he seems to love it that much. But it's like, how long will he be able to? It's why a little bit kind of being in a win now mode as to we want to win. We don't want to rebuild. We don't want to waste time with that. Like we legit want to win and compete for championships right now underneath Mike Zimmer. We got the defense to do it. Let's be aggressive. The thing like trading for Sam Bradford, making sure that we can still compete and put the best foot forward. I like that mentality because you don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he's only got 4 seasons left in him before he is forced to retire. I want to see us give us our all right now for Mike Zimmer because he deserves it.
That was well said, man. I don't have anything too much to add to that. I really hope that he has a speedy recovery. Like I said with Teddy, the same way. I feel the same way about both of them. I think they're stand-up guys, stand-up people. I think they're really good at their respective jobs and positions. And I wish them the best, man. I know Mike Zimmer will probably never listen to our show, but we're huge fans. I said it before I knew about his foundation. I'm like, I'd wear a T-shirt with that guy's face on it. Literally, I can do that now because he has one. But, Godspeed and all that good stuff to Mike Zimmer, and I hope he comes back. And I really do think we have the pieces in place. And what better year would it be to finally win a Super Bowl because it's going to be in Minnesota? I mean, let's hope the stars line up and that happens. But let's jump past and go into the social media question, which was a good one. We got a lot of responses, so I'll go through these really quick. Social media question was posted on May 21st. It was 3 days ago, so we had a lot of reaction there. So besides Sam Bradford, which Minnesota Viking will lead the team in touchdowns? So let's go through these. I've got Corbin Johnson says Dalvin Cook. Brandon Ailes says, I'm going to say a tie between Cook and Rudolph at 10 each, which is amazing. I don't think Cook is the number 1 running back week 1, but by week 4 or 5, he's getting 20 touches a game. That's very possible. I've heard that before from plenty of people as well. Joe Carlson says, my guess is probably Latavius Murray since he'll be getting short yardage carries, but I would like to see Diggs steal the show. We have Jamie Otting that says Diggs as well. Marcus Sway says Cook. Scott Conrad says Dalvin Cook or Adam Thielen. Mike Teague, Kyle Rudolph for sure, which is a good – I like that, man. Kyle Rudolph still gets love. He's kind of underrated, especially after a good season last year with Sam Bradford. The last 3 we have, Brent Foster says Xavier Rhodes setting the NFL record for most defensive TDs. That would be amazing.
It could happen.
Thomas
Kid's good.
My friend on Facebook. Cook or McKinnon would be great. I also feel like Rudolph will be the leader. And Eddie Self. Here's the question. I saved Eddie for last. What if it's Laquan Treadwell? What would that say about the perceived lack of depth in our wide receiving core? So
stranger things have happened.
Some good answers. Really good answers for you guys. And this is why we ask these social media questions so we can tell about them on the show. We'll say your name out here. We'll get you a shout out real quick, and we'll go through those answers. I love those. There's so many different ones there. I heard Cook, Diggs, and Thielen, and a little love for Kyle Rudolph there. So we'll see. I don't know. Me personally, I think it's going to be a wide receiver by the name of Stephon Diggs. That's just my guess because he's the number one on the team right now. 1A and 1B with him and Thielen, so we'll see. Who do you think is going to lead the team?
You know what? I honestly think it's going to be Latavius Murray.
Okay.
Just because he's goes for the end zone, and he'll be the back that when Vikings are around the goal line, he'll be the one that they stick in, kind of like what they were using with Matt Asiata. So I think that he will have a healthy number of touchdowns for the Vikings this season.
We're going to post next week's social media question when we get done with the show. But right now, we're going to close out the show with Kyle's 5 reasons why, and I'm going to close it with a bold statement. So this is a Teddy Bridgewater segment. Since this is a Teddy Bridgewater titled show. So Kyle says he has 5 reasons why Teddy Bridgewater should sit in 2017. I would love to hear this.
I got controversy here. I got 5 reasons why Teddy Bridgewater should sit in 2017. Number 5, remember Dante Culpepper? You guys remember Dante Culpepper. He suffered a pretty bad knee injury and then came back the following season and was never the same again. He goes to Miami. His career is virtually over. So what I'm saying is don't rush Teddy back. There's no sense in rushing Teddy back, which is actually my number 4. Why risk his long-term health? We have Sam Bradford. Why would you risk Teddy coming back when we really maybe we might not need him at the moment? So let him sit. 3, Sam Bradford may know the Vikings offense better at this point because he's actually worked with Pat Shurmur a number of times in the past. Shurmur can tailor-make the offense to fit Sam Bradford, so he actually may be ahead of Teddy in knowing the playbook, especially because Teddy's been spending all this time doing rehab. Number 2, I have also risk versus reward, which ties into kind of what I said previously, but you look at what is the benefit of playing Teddy and Bradford at this specific moment? What is the for that? What are you gaining out of? Well, the risk is the rest of Teddy Bridgewater's career, which looks really bright. I mean, if he comes back just a little too soon, hit with a low hit, and blows that knee out, it could be career over for Teddy Bridgewater. Do you really want to risk that? And number 1, Sam Bradford has earned the right to start based on what he played last season. And that is not fair to Teddy Bridgewater that he got hurt, but this is like life in general. Sam Bradford came in, he played exceptionally well, has earned the right to not have to compete for that starting spot. Sam has earned the right to be the quarterback, at least for one more season, of the Minnesota Vikings. Sorry, Teddy, but you can take some time and you can covering your knee and you can come back next season and we can have a competition at this and we can see who the best quarterback on the roster is.
Wow. Okay. I like it because we all love Teddy on this show, but I think you make some very reasonable comments, man. A lot of people aren't going to like that because a lot of people think that Sam Bradford's not good, and I laugh because
honestly, that's why I picked it.
Yeah, why not? I will talk about Sam Bradford and all the things I liked about him since he's joined our team until I'm blue in the face because I think if you understand the whole concept of football, how a team operates, and how important some other things are, ask me, and I'll tell you, I'll harp on it again because I'm going to do a little rant about that too. Ask a quarterback what his favorite friend is on the offense, and he'll say a good running game. Sam Bradford had the worst rushing attack in the league last year. Like you said before earlier in the show, TJ Clemmings was starting at not his natural position. We hired Jake Long off the street. Off the street. He was unemployed to come guard and make sure Sam Bradford didn't get killed, which he did get beat up a lot last year. Started 15 games, threw for almost 4,000 yards, two separate almost 1,000-yard receivers, and he got there like 2 weeks before the season started. I don't know what else you guys want. Kyle makes valid points. I'm not pooping on Teddy because I love Teddy, and I agree with everything you said. I think that the long-term future of Teddy Bridgewater weighs right now heavily on this rehab process. And that brings me to my bold statement. For all you guys that don't really care for Sam Bradford, that listen to our show and you like Teddy more, you're going to like this bold statement because I think this is true. I don't think it's fair. At this point in time, based off of what's happened, and that's not fair because Teddy is injured, I would take Sam over Teddy any day of the week. I have my personal reasons for that, which I won't drag the show out any longer. But my bold statement for the week is, unless Sam Bradford takes us to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, I promise you guys Teddy Bridgewater will take over again as our main quarterback the following season. He'll be cheaper, he'll have a higher upside, and he'll have almost 2 years to recover. I don't like that, but I honestly see that being the case. We brought you in, we give you a full season, you have a stacked defense, we got you a brand new set of running backs. Here's your whole season. By the way, the Super Bowl's in our town this year. Don't F that up. Hope you do well. This is the NFL now. There are guys out there that are not employed, despite their off-the-field issues, if you don't like them or whatever else, for certain guys, other stuff. But Adrian freaking Peterson got one look at a team and signed with them, and he might not even be the feature back there. And he's a Hall of Famer, and we've talked about him before. So I think, honestly, Bradford's going to have to ball out if he wants to stay in Minnesota. I don't think that he can't ball out. I don't think that he won't either. I think he's going to have a great season for those reasons that you mentioned. A full offseason with an offensive coordinator who likes him, can tailor to him, and all that good stuff. But I'm telling you right now, for you guys that love Teddy, if Sam doesn't have the best season or an even better season than last year, we don't go to the postseason and do some damage and at least win a game, I don't see him keeping him around.
I agree with you. And we're not trying to knock on Teddy. We both love to. I can hear my voice. I can hear my voice.
I am so sorry. I don't know.
I was getting some feedback there.
You're good.
Okay, it stopped now. What I was saying is that we both love Teddy and that we want to see him succeed. We want to see Sam succeed as well, too. And I really do think that best case scenario for the Vikings is that Sam takes them deep into the playoffs. What happens then it's just one game at a time. And then Teddy comes back next season and looks great, and you can have an open competition between the two, and you can find out who your better quarterback is. And who knows, be a way to keep both of them
I'm okay.
For the 2018 season and say, hey, Teddy is your starter and is our backup. We're not just going to release him. We're going to wait until someone wants to trade for him, and then we get our first-round pick back out of him.
That's a very viable option as well, man. That's definitely a possibility. Open competition when Teddy's fully healthy and Bradford, it'd be great. I think that would make NFL headlines, honestly. And it's a great problem to have because a lot of the teams out there don't really like the guy that they're having to throw out as number one, much less all the guys that they have at 2, 3, and whatever else.
Look at where we came from just a couple seasons ago when we had Christian Ponder, Joe Webb,
Matt Castle
at quarterback, and now we're looking at, he's hurt, but we have a potential competition between Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, come on.
It's a lot to be excited about for all the years that we've had no answer at quarterback. I think you have a viable option there in either one of those guys. And, some of my friends and whatever team that they support, they didn't think Teddy was anything great. They don't study him. They don't know him like we do. We see the upside. We saw what happened when he played. He's a smart kid. He's young. So I think that's
I'm telling you, before Teddy got hurt last offseason, he was really looking like he was sharp and on point and was going to have a phenomenal season for the Vikings. It is an absolute that he got hurt in the fashion that he did, and we did not get to witness what Teddy could have done on the field for that team. And that's not knocking Sam. Sam came in and did above and beyond expectations as well, too. But, man, Teddy really, really looked like he was going to do something good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. We'll see. Time will tell, but I don't know. That's all I got, man. I want to say thanks for everybody in the chat, and thanks for everybody that comments on our social media question. There's 2 things, if you guys are still with us, that I want you to check out. Check out the Viking Age. Adam's not here, but he does a lot of work there. Adam Carlson from the Viking Age any kind of article that you want about the Vikings. Obviously, you'll get up-to-date and current news. If something comes out within 24 hours, there's an article about it, or maybe two, from all their talented writers over there. Just check those guys out if you can and give them some love, because that's where I get all my information about the Vikings, and it's not just stuff you can find on NFL.com. This is more in-depth, intimate, and personal stuff about the team, and it goes kind of more in-depth as true Viking fanatics would want to read about. The second thing is, thank you for listening to us in whatever format that you find us. We're out there in a lot of different ways, but just the YouTube thing, man, we got to keep pushing it. So for you guys that are almost there, we're almost to 400. I remember we were at 2 something not that long ago. So it's your guys' help. I think when we get to 5, we should do something and give back to people. So if we can get back there, maybe we could do like a raffle or something and just pick a name.
That'd be fun.
Just to get you guys interested.
We'll make
out, and it'll help out everyone else once we get there, because the platform that we have that you guys listen to is only going to get better. So we can do stuff like ESPN and like Fox Sports and all those fancy schmancy ways that we want to get to.
Maybe we'll give away a Chris Cook jersey.
I went through my photos yesterday, just looking around the goofball, and I saw the one where Christian Ponder jersey. I put it on Facebook. I think it was my memories on Facebook. It said Ponder on clearance sale for $2, and I said, my caption was, I can think of about 100 different things that I would buy before I would buy a $2 Christian Ponder jersey. Which I feel bad because we always rag on him, but man, yeah, we'll try to up it from the Christian Ponders and Chris Cook jerseys if we do a giveaway. I promise it'll be a little better than that.
I have I'll keep a gift that's been passed around between a lot of my Vikings fans that are here local, and I think you guys will get a kick out of this one. It's a Darren Sharper jersey that none of us want because for obvious reasons. And so we just passed the Sharper jersey around, and it's currently hanging in my closet right now. So at some point, I'm going to pass this Darren Sharper jersey on to another unsuspecting fan. So,
oh gosh,
yeah,
mail it to the closest correctional facility you have.
God, mail it to him.
Oh man, can I get an autograph from jail? Thanks.
Oh.
So thank you for everyone for listening in. Check out our social media question, and we're going to post that here shortly. And since Adam's not here, I'll steal his line. Thanks, Kyle, for putting everything together on Google Hangouts. And thank you for listening to the Perfect People Podcast. Stay classy, Minnesota.